So, Outlander, have you completed the initiation rite? So, Outlander, have you completed the initiation rite? This is my father's bone-biter bow. You have completed the initiation rite. I name you clan friend of the Ashlanders. Keep my father's bow and bear it with honor. You are a friend of our tribe and may rest in any Urshilaku bed. But do not harm other tribe members or take their things. And now I will fulfill my other promise. Go to the wise woman's yurt, and Nibani Maisa shall examine you and test you against the Nerevarin prophecies. Now that you are a clan friend, I want to speak plainly. I find it hard to believe that you are the Nerevarine. You are an outlander, but the Nerevarine comes to drive all outlanders from Morrowind. How could an outlander be the incarnate? The great houses stole our lands and mocked us with false gods. The godless outlanders steal our land and our dignity. The Nerevarine is the last hope the Ashlanders have. I will let no outlander steal this hope from us. These are serious words, words of life and death. I see honor and merit in you, and am proud to name you clan friend. But take care what you say and do in the name of the Nerevarine. Now go question Nibani Maisa and learn all she can tell you.
Quickly, Outlander, I haven't much time.
Welcome, favored guest. My yurt and hearth are yours. So, you have talked with Sulmatul, and now you are a friend of our clan. Will wonders never cease?
Go ahead. Do you have questions about the Nerevarin prophecies? Go ahead. Do you have questions about the Nerevarin prophecies? Have you come to see if you passed the test? Do you think you are the Nerevarine? I will give you what counsel I can, but I only see what may be, not what must be. There are Nerevarine prophecies that have been lost, the 7 curses, and others. Some are forgotten, some hidden, some deliberately lost. The wise women are the memory of the Velothi people, but it is a faulty memory, and we are mortal, and our knowledge dies with us. But we hear that the dissident priests of the temple study our Nerevarine prophecies and record them in books. Such written words never die. You must go to them and ask for these books, and bring what you find to me. 7 trials. What he puts his hand to, that shall be done. What is left undone, that shall be done. First trial. On a certain day to uncertain parents incarnate moon and star reborn. Second trial. Neither blight nor age can harm him. The curse of flesh before him flies. Third trial. In caverns dark Azura's eye sees, and makes to shine the moon and star. Fourth trial. A stranger's voice unites the houses. 3 halls call him Hortator. Fifth trial. A stranger's hand unites the Velothi. 4 tribes call him Nerevarine. Sixth trial. He honors blood of the tribe unmourned. He eats their sin and is reborn. Seventh trial. His mercy frees the cursed false gods, binds the broken, redeems the mad. One destiny. He speaks the law for Veloth's people. He speaks for their land and names them great. What does this prophecy mean? It tells us who the Nerevarine will be, and the trials he must undergo before he fulfills his destiny. Some parts I understand, some parts I do not. I will answer your questions as best I can, but I cannot pretend to understand it all. Veloth's people are the Dunmer, all Dunmer, Ashlander, and Greathouse. The last time the Velothi were united were with Nerevar at the Battle of Red Mountain. Now Nerevar will come once again and unite the Dunmer. He will restore Morrowind to the Dunmer, and restore the former greatness of the Velothi people. This is the best known of the Nerevarine prophecies. We call it the Stranger. When earth is sundered and skies choked black, and sleepers serve the 7 curses, to the hearth there comes a stranger, journeyed far neath moon and star. Though stark-born to sire uncertain, his aspect marks his certain fate. Wicked stalk him, righteous curse him, prophets speak but all deny. Many trials make manifest, the stranger's fate, the curse's bane. Many touchstones try the stranger, many fall, but one remains. I have told you all I know. Go, think on what I've told you, and do what must be done.
Your end is here. I give up. Let me live. Don't kill me! Over here! Over here! I'm under attack! I'll turn your bones to ash. Prepare to die. I shall enjoy watching you take your last breath. Ah! I've got a hex with your name on it. Dodge this! Here it comes! You're no match for my powers! I've got all sorts of tricks up my sleeve. I'll blast you back to oblivion!
The designations of gods, demons, Aedra and Daedra are universally confusing to the layman. They are often used interchangeably due to the arrogance and ignorance of the said user. Aedra and Daedra are not relative terms. They are elvish and exact. Azura is a Daedra both in Skyrim and Morrowind. Aedra is usually translated as ancestor, which is as close as Cyrodiilic can come to this elven concept. Daedra means roughly, not our ancestors. This distinction was crucial to the Dunmer, whose fundamental split in ideology is represented in their mythical genealogy. Aedra are associated with stasis. Daedra represent change. Aedra created the mortal world and are bound to the earth bones. Daedra, who cannot create, have the power to change. As part of the divine contract of creation, the Aedra can be killed. Witness Lorcan and the Moons. The Protean Daedra, for whom the rules do not apply, can only be banished.
I don't know you. What do you want? Your suffering will be great.
Where would you like to go?
Why walk when you can ride?
Why walk when you can ride? What are you gawking at? Bit late to be wandering around, isn't it? Looking for lodging? Steer clear of the council club. It's not for the likes of you.
Are you here to discuss your orders? Or you've spoken with Sulmatuul and Nibani Maisa, and from what they say, it sounds like you could really be the Nerevarine. That's just incredible. But I'll have to get used to the idea. Let me try to get word to Mera Milo. Maybe she can find out whether the dissident priests have any lost prophecies. But in the meantime, I have a very tough assignment for you. Do you think you're ready? Nice to have a Nerevarine in our pocket, just in case. Good. Cautious is smart. I'm going to give you the mission, but I'm going to give you 400 drakes. Before you head out, make sure you outfit yourself with healing potions, new gear, a little training, whatever you think you need most. And if you get in trouble, back off, rest up, and go back fresh. Don't take any chances. I think this will be a tough one. Here's your mission. Fort Buckmoth sent a patrol to Gnaar Mok, hunting smugglers with Sixth House connections. They found a Sixth House base, a Sixth House shrine, and a Sixth House priest named Dagoth Ur. Speak to Champion Raisa Pulia at Fort Buckmoth. She'll tell you about the patrol and the Sixth House base. Your orders: find that Sixth House base, kill Dagoth Ur, and bring me a full report on the Sixth House base. Champion Raisa Pulia at Fort Buckmoth says a patrol found a Sixth House base in a cave the locals call Ilunibi. However, the one trooper who escaped to report has died of corpus disease. Before he died, the trooper reported fighting with monsters and cultists, and something about a powerful Sixth House priest called Dagoth Ur. But go talk to Raisa Pulia at Fort Buckmoth. She'll have all the details. I don't know much about it. I've never seen a case myself. You can get it from contact with the Red Mountain monsters they call corpus beasts. I think it's like a blight disease, only worse. It usually drives victims mad and causes terrible, deformed growths on the body. I'll check my informants and find out how to cure it. In the meantime, just follow your orders. I don't know what else to do. Fort Buckmoth is the Imperial Legion's garrison for Redoran District. The fort lies south of Aldrun, a short walk from Aldrun's south gate.
We make a special trip just for you. Same low price.
Go ahead, stranger. I'm Raisa Pulia, champion of the Legion garrison here at Buckmoth Legion Fort, and you're them. Caius Cosades sent you, didn't he? Caius says you're the one to handle this Sixth House base near Gnaar Mok. Really? I was thinking the same thing. All the garrisons are presently at full strength, except perhaps the Death's Head Legion at Fort Darius, in the West Gash, near the village of Nisus. If you're interested, you'll have to talk to General Darius there.
We make a special trip just for you. Same low price. Respectable citizens should be turning in at this hour. You may speak. Try sleeping on the streets, and you'll wake up in a jail cell.
This is Margan, stranger. You looking for someone in particular? The Tower Shrine, the famous Margan pilgrimage site, is on the east, surrounded by a wall and 3 watchtowers. And
Say
a
what
trade
you
house
want
is
or
up the
go
steps
away.
and through the gate at the northwest end of the village.
You're in Margan, Outlander. If you have a specific place in mind, maybe I can tell you where it is.
This is Margan, and I'm Miles Gloriosus. Lots of pilgrims come here to visit the temple shrine. Is there anything I can help you with? Do you need services?
This is Margan, stranger. You looking for someone in particular?
This better be important, Cyrodiil.
I cannot help you. Leave me alone.
We rent
I
beds.
hope this won't
have some
take
goods for
long.
barter. What do you want?
Do not waste my time.
Say what you want or go away. Pardon me, can you help a poor pilgrim? I've been trying to get to Ruddy Man, but I've lost my way. If you would be so kind as to help, I can pay you 150 septums upon our arrival. I need to get there rather quickly, though. I'm on a pilgrimage, and there are others I must meet there. I must be at Ruddyman in Coal Cave within 2 days. Can you help? No. Well, maybe I'll find someone else who'll be able to help me out. Where would you like to go?
Why walk when you can ride?
What is it this time? Are you looking for services here in Seydanin?
This is Gnaar Mok. We don't get lots of visitors here. Don't like visitors much, or people who ask a lot of questions. But if you are looking for someone in particular, or for services, or some specific place, then I'll tell you what I know, if you'll promise to go away and leave me alone. Ilunibi Caverns. That's what they call the old sea cave up on the north end of the island, right on Cartag Point. Don't poke around in there. It's a convenient smuggler's hole, and they might not welcome visitors. Yes, that's on the western coast, not far from here. It's a gigantic boulder. Some of the orcs consider it a landmark. Why, I don't know. Some orc or another jumped off on a dare. Didn't
And even if we overlook the dubious moral and legal justifications for hundreds of years of occupation of these two provinces, what economic or military benefits can we derive from Morrowind and Black Marsh? Indeed, a few beneficiaries of imperial monopolies in the provinces do profit from exploitation of their wealth and resources. But does the empire as a whole benefit? Hardly. The vast machineries of the imperial bureaucracies cost far more to maintain than can be recovered in duties and taxes, and the cost of establishing and maintaining the garrisons of the Imperial Legion in the far-flung wilderness posts of these provinces would be cost-effective only if there were evidence of a military threat from the east. But no such evidence exists. No army of Morrowind or Black Marsh has ever threatened the security of any other imperial province, let alone the security of Cyrodiil itself. In fact, a greater threat to imperial security lies in the idle legions that the taxpayer spends thousands of drakes to support. The generals of these legions, facing no enemies or opposition within the borders of their provinces, may look with ambition to the west. With their loyal veteran troops and coffers fattened by friendly monopolists, they become unpredictable political factors in the uncertainties surrounding the imperial succession. If the occupation of Morrowind and Black Marsh were motivated by idealistic aspirations, perhaps there might lie some justification for bearing the burden of empire. But consider the shame of the Empire's mute acceptance to the unspeakable practice of slavery in Morrowind. Instead of using our imperial legions to free the wretched Khajiit and Argonian slaves from their Dunmer masters, we pay our troopers to protect the indefensible institution of slavery. Within the ebony mines of Morrowind, bloated monopolists under imperial charters exploit slave labor to harvest the outrageous profits assured by rampant graft and corruption. Consider the colossal arrogance of our proposition to bring peace and enlightenment to the East, when in fact we have only brought our armies into lands who have never threatened us, and when we have only exploited the most shameful and evil practices we have found in Morrowind and Black Marsh, simply to enrich the friends and flatterers of the imperial family. Impartially considered, our occupation of the eastern provinces is morally corrupt, militarily indefensible, and economically ruinous. The only conclusion is that we should disband the Eastern legions, withdraw the imperial bureaucracies and monopolists from the East, and give these ancient lands and peoples their freedom. Only by doing so may we hope to preserve the fragile ideals and fortunes of Western culture.
Have you no sense about you? You spread disease like a rat.
You smell of sickness. Go away.
Why do you outlanders think you can bother anyone you please? I'm so hungry, I could eat a rat. Leave me before you feel my dagger.
You smell of sickness. Go away.
For several warm summer days in the year 3E407, a young, pretty Dunmer woman in a veil regularly visited one of the master armourers in the city of Tyr. The locals decided that she was young and pretty by her figure and her poise, though no one ever saw her face. She and the armourer would retire to the back of his shop, and he would close down his business and dismiss his apprentices for a few hours. Then, at mid-afternoon, she would leave, only to return at precisely the same time the next day. As gossip goes, it was fairly meagre stuff, though what the old man was doing with such a well-dressed and attractively proportioned woman was the source of several crude jokes. After several weeks, the visits stopped, and life returned to normal in the slums of Tyr. It was not until a month or two after the visits had stopped that in one of the many taverns in the neighborhood, a young local tailor, having imbibed too much sauce, asked the armorer, "So whatever happened to your lady friend? You break her heart?" The armorer, well aware of the rumors, simply replied, "She is a proper young lady of quality. There was nothing between her and the likes of me." "What was she doing at your shop every day for?" asked the tavern wench, who had been dying to get the subject open. "If you must know," said the armorer, "I was teaching her the craft." "You're putting us on," laughed the tailor. "No, the young lady had a particular fascination with my particular kind of artistry," the armorer said with a hint of pride before getting lost in the reverie. "I taught her how to mend swords specifically, from all kinds of nicks and breaks, hairline fissures, cracked pommels, quillons and grips. When she first started, she had no idea how to secure the grips to the tang of the blade. Well, of course she was green to start off with. Why wouldn't she be? But she weren't afraid to get her hands dirty. I taught her how to patch the little inlaid silver and gold filigree you find on really fine blades, and how to polish it all to a mirror sheen, so the sword looks like the gods just pulled it from their celestial anvil." The tavern wench and the tailor laughed out loud. No matter what he alleged, the armorer was speaking of the young lady's training as another man speaks of a long-lost love. More of the locals in the tavern would have listened to the armorer's pathetic tale, but more important gossip had taken precedence. There was another murdered slave trader found in the center of town, gutted from fore to aft. That made 6 of them total in barely a fortnight. Some called the killer the Liberator, but that sort of anti-slavery zeal was rare among the common folk. They preferred calling him the Lopper, as several of the earlier victims had been completely beheaded. Others had been simply perforated, sliced or gutted, but the Lopper still kept his original sobriquet. While the enthusiastic hooligans made bets about the condition of the next slave trader's corpse, several dozen of the surviving members of that trade were meeting at the manor house of Sergio Dres Minigar. Minigar was a minor houseman of House Dres, but a major member of the slave-trading fraternity. Perhaps his best years were behind him, but his associates still counted on him for wisdom. "We need to take what we know of this Lopper and search accordingly," said Minigar, seated in front of his opulent hearth. "We know he has an unreasonable hatred of slavery and slave traders. We know he is skilled with a blade. We know he has the stealth and finesse to execute our most well-secured brethren in their most secure abodes. It sounds to me to be an adventurer, an outlander. Surely no citizen of Morrowind would strike at us like this." The slave traders nodded in agreement. An outlander seemed most likely for their troubles. It was always true. "Were I 50 years younger, I would take down my blade a crash from the hearth." Minigar made an expansive gesture to the shimmering weapon. "And join you in seeking out this terror. Search him out where adventurers meet, taverns and guild halls. Then show him a little lopping of my own." The slave traders laughed politely. "You wouldn't let us borrow your blade for the execution, I suppose, would you, Sergio?" asked Soron Yelis, a young toadying slaver, enthusiastically. "It would be an excellent use for Akrash," sighed Minigar, "but I vowed to retire her when I retired." Minigar called for his daughter Pelaya to bring the slavers more flin, but they waved the girl away. It was to be a night for hunting the Lopper, not drinking away their troubles. Minigar heartily approved of their devotion, particularly as expensive as the liquor was getting to be. When the last of the slavers had left, the old man kissed his daughter on the head, took one last admiring look at Akrash, and toddled off to his bed. No sooner had he done so than Pelaya had the blade off the mantle and was flying with it across the field behind the manor house. She knew Kazag had been waiting for her for hours in the stables. He sprung out at her from the shadows and, wrapping his strong, furry arms around her, kissed her long and sweet. Holding him as long as she dared to, she finally broke away and handed him the blade. He tested its edge. "The finest Khajiiti swordsmith couldn't hone an edge this keen," he said, looking at his beloved with pride. "And I know I nicked it up good last night." "That you did," said Pelaya. You must have cut through an iron cuirass. The slavers are taking precautions now, he replied. What did they say during their meeting? They think it's an outlander adventurer, she laughed. It didn't occur to any of them that a Khajiiti slave would possess the skill to commit all these loppings. And your father doesn't suspect that it's his dear Akrash that is striking into the heart of oppression? Why would he, when every day he finds it fresh as the day before? Now I must go before anyone notices I'm gone. My nurse sometimes comes in to ask me some detail about the wedding, as if I had any choice in the matter at all. I promise you, said Kazag very seriously, you will not be forced into any marriage to cement your family's slave-dealing dynasty. The last scabbard Akrash will be sheathed into will be your father's heart. And when you are an orphan, you can free the slaves, move to a more enlightened province, and marry who you like. I wonder who that will be, Pelaya teased, and raced out of the stables. Just before dawn, Pelaya awoke and crept out to the garden, where she found Akrash hidden in the bitter green vines. The edge was still relatively keen, but there were scratches vertically across the blade's surface. Another beheading, she thought, as she took pumice stone and patiently rubbed out the marks, finally polishing it with a solution of salt and vinegar. It was up on the mantel in pristine condition when her father came into the sitting room for his breakfast. When the news came that Camillith Torom, Pelaya's husband-to-be, had been found outside of a canton, his head on a spike some feet away, she did not have to pretend to grieve. Her father knew she did not want to marry him. "It is a shame," he said. "The lad was a good slaver, but there are plenty of other young men who would appreciate an alliance with our family. What about young Soren Yeles?" 2 nights later, Soren Yeles was visited by the Lopper. The struggle did not take long, but Soren had armed himself with one small defense, a needle dipped in the ichor of poison plant hidden up his sleeve. After the mortal blow, he collapsed forward and stuck Kazag in the calf with the pin. By the time he made it back to the Minagar manor house, he was dying. Vision blurring, he climbed up to the eaves of the house to Pelaya's window and rapped. Pelaya did not answer immediately, as she was in a deep, wonderful sleep, dreaming about her future with her Khajiiti lover. He rapped louder, which woke up not only Pelaya, but also her father in the next room. "Kazag!" she cried, opening up the window. The next person in the bedroom was Minagor himself. As he saw it, this slave, his property, was about to lop off the head of his daughter, his property, with his sword, his property. Suddenly, with the energy of a young man, Minagar rushed at the dying Khajiit, knocking the sword out of his hand. Before Pelaya could stop him, her father had thrust the blade into her lover's heart. The excitement over, the old man dropped the sword and turned to the door to call the guard. As an afterthought, it occurred to him to make certain that his daughter hadn't been injured and might require a healer. Minagar turned to her. For a moment, he felt simply disoriented, feeling the force of the blow, but not the blade itself. Then he saw the blood and then felt the pain. Before he fully realized that his daughter had stabbed him with Akrash, he was dead. The blade at last found its scabbard. A week later, after the official investigations, the slave was buried in an unmarked grave in the manor field, and Sergiodres Minagar found his resting place in a modest corner of the family's opulent mausoleum. A larger crowd of curious onlookers came to view the funeral of the noble slaver whose secret life was as the savage lopper of his competitors. The audience was respectfully quiet, though there was not a person there not imagining the final moments of the man's life, attacking his own daughter in his madness, luckily defended by the loyal, hapless slave before turning the blade on himself. Among the viewers was an old armorer who saw for one last time the veiled young lady before she disappeared forever from Tyr.
There is no escape.
have you? You will die. Will die. You will suffer greatly. Your life's end is approaching.
It is improper, however customary, to refer to the denizens of the dimension of oblivion as demons. This practice probably dates to the Alessian doctrines of the first-era prophet Maruk, which, rather amusingly, forbade traffic with daemons, and then neglected to explain what daemons were. It is most probable that daemon is a misspelling or etymological rendition of Daedra, the old elven word for those strange, powerful creatures of uncertain motivation who hail from the dimension of oblivion. Daedra is actually the plural form. The singular is Daedroth. In a later tract by King Hael the Pious of Skyrim, almost 1,000 years after the publication of the original doctrines, the evil machinations of his political enemies are compared to the wickedness of the demons of oblivion. Their depravity equals that of Sanguine itself. They are cruel as Boethia, calculating as Molag Bal, and mad as Sheogorath. Hael the Pious thus long-windedly introduced 4 of the Daedra lords to written record. But the written record is not, after all, the best way to research oblivion and the Daedra who inhabit it. Those who traffic with daemons seldom wish it to be a matter of public account. Nevertheless, scattered throughout the literature of the First Era are diaries, journals, notices for witch burnings, and guides for Daedra slayers. These I have used as my primary source material. They are at least as trustworthy as the Daedra lords I have actually summoned and spoken with at length. Apparently, Oblivion is a place composed of many lands, thus the many names for which Oblivion is synonymous: Cold Harbour, Quagmire, Moonshadow, etc. It may be correctly supposed that each land of Oblivion is ruled over by one prince,
like a
the
rat.
Daedra princes, whose names appear over and over in ancient records, though this is not an infallible test of their authenticity or explicit existence, to be sure, are the aforementioned Sanguine, Boethia, Molag Bal, and Sheogorath, and in addition Azura, Mephala, Clavicus Vile,
Can't you find
Vermina,
someone else to
Malakath,
bother?
Hormius, or Hermaeus, or Hormaeus, or Herma. There seems to be no one accepted spelling. Mora, Namira, Jigalag, Nocturnal, Mehrunes Dagon, and Periite. From my experience, Daedra are a very mixed lot. It is almost impossible to categorize them as a whole, except for their immense power and penchant for extremism. Be that as it may, I have here attempted to do so in a few cases, purely for the sake of scholastic expediency. Mehrunes Dagon, Molag Bal, Periite, Boethia, and Vermina are among the most consistently demonic of the Daedra, in the sense that their spheres seem to be destructive in nature. The other Daedra can, of course, be equally dangerous, but seldom purely for the sake of destruction, as these five can. Nor are these previous five identical in their destructiveness. Mehrunes Dagon seems to prefer natural disasters, earthquakes and volcanoes, for venting his anger. Molag Bal elects the employment of other Daedra, and Boethia inspires the arms of mortal warriors.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Periite's sphere seems to be pestilence, and Vermina's torture. In preparation for the next installment in this series, I will be investigating two matters that have intrigued me since I began my career as a Daedra researcher. The first is on one particular Daedroth, perhaps yet another Daedra prince, referred to in multiple articles of Incunabula as Hircine. Hircine has been called the huntsman of the princes and the father of man-beasts, but I have yet to find anyone who can summon him. The other, and perhaps more doubtful goal I have, is to find a practical means for mortal men to pass through to oblivion. It has always been my philosophy that we need only fear that which we do not understand, and with that thought in mind, I ever pursue my objective.
I'm listening.
Welcome, adventurer. Looking for an equalizer? Something to give you an edge against a superior opponent? When you need to do a lot of damage in a hurry, you can't beat a poisoned blade. Try my inexpensive iron spider dagger and steel spider blade, or an imperial netch blade for even more bite.
What was that about? So what's this regarding?
Welcome, adventurer. Looking for an equalizer? Something to give you an edge against a superior opponent? When you need to do a lot of damage in a hurry, you can't beat a poisoned blade. Try my inexpensive iron spider dagger and steel...
What's your story?
When you need to do a lot of damage in a hurry, you can't beat a poisoned blade. Welcome, adventurer. Looking for an equalizer? Something to give you an edge against a superior opponent? When you need to do a lot of damage in a hurry, you can't beat a poisoned blade. Try my inexpensive iron spider dagger and steel spider blade, or an imperial netch blade for even more bite. Welcome, adventurer. Looking for an equalizer? Something to give you an edge against a superior opponent? When you need to do a lot of damage in a hurry, you can't beat a poisoned blade. Try my inexpensive iron spider dagger and steel spider blade, or an Welcome, adventurer. Looking for an equalizer? Something to give you an edge against a superior opponent? When you need to do a lot of damage in a hurry, you can't beat a poisoned blade. Try my inexpensive iron spider dagger and steel spider blade, or an imperial netch blade for even more bite.
I haven't seen that before.
Welcome, adventurer. Looking for an equalizer? Something to give you an edge against a superior opponent? When you need... Welcome, adventurer. Looking for an equalizer? Something to give you an edge against a superior opponent? When you need to do a lot of damage in a hurry, you can't beat a poisoned blade. Try my inexpensive iron spider dagger and steel spider blade, or an imperial netch blade for even more bite. Welcome, adventurer. Looking for an equalizer? Something to give you an edge against a superior opponent? When you need to do a lot of damage in a hurry, you can't beat a poisoned blade. Try my inexpensive iron spider dagger and steel spider blade, or an imperial netch blade for even more bite.